There are some principles to life that make men great and that make great men even greater. They evoke the courageous spirit to press onward, upward, and extend their capabilities to full capacity. Those principles derive from the Roman period, the Nordic culture, and the Middle Ages of the Crusaders. The Roman culture brought about this divine imperium where the Romans believed there was this divine calling to be great and that they were backed by some supernatural being that pushed them to their full capabilities. So in times of war, in times of adversity, when they were encountered with challenges, they believed something greater backed them and that a higher calling charged them onward. When we find a greater aim, when we find something greater than ourselves, it evokes this courageous spirit. It isn't about us, it's about the higher calling. We find something worthy, we find something that moves us forward. We find something that vanquishes the cowardice within us. We find something that vanquishes the weakness within us. And we rise to superior levels because we believe there is something divine, there is something supernatural, there is a greater aim pressing us onwards. The Nordic culture believed that it was great to live for battle. It was great to combat weakness. It was great to combat the enemy. But even greater was to die for your cause, where the select were chosen to live forever. If we want to find the greatest motivation to help us endure, persist, and remain consistent in whatever war we're waging, we have to find something that we can live for and something that we're willing to die for. What cause is calling you to be your best, to be even better, to be great, to be greater? What are you pursuing that invites you to become your best? When we find something worth living for, when we sacrifice ourselves for something greater, we find that we can rise to our greatest potential because there's something that speaks to our heart, there's something that speaks to our being. We find this congruency where we attach ourselves to a purpose, to a meaning, something that wakes you up in the morning and speaks to the very existence of who you are. Not only am I willing to live for this, I'm willing to die for this. This is my goal. This is what I value. This is my standard. This is who I am. And the Crusaders of the Middle Ages brought about the spirit of knighthood and the chivalrous attitude, where they stood up for their values, where they stood up for what was right. They did the next best thing because it was the right thing to do. When this becomes our nature and our character, that we push through, that we persevere because it's the right thing to do, we rise ourselves and elevate ourselves to the next level of existence. Success lies in your ability to do it because it's what you believe in, it's what you value. You have to do it because it's who you are. We evoke the spirit of the Roman culture. We believe there's this divine calling. There's something greater and bigger than us that pushes us to be excellent, that pushes us and invites us and calls us to elevate ourselves above mediocre. And we add the Nordic culture of live for it, but be willing to die for it, because dying in your ambition is the greatest calling one could ever accept. Find something that not only invites you to live and live thoroughly. But then when you die, when you go to rest in that great abode above, there is no regrets because you lived and died in something that you truly believed in. And become that chivalrous knight that does it because it's the right thing to do. And if you don't do it, you'll be living in regret for the rest of your life. You are that knight that does it because it's who you are, it's what you believe in, it's what you stand for. You are backed by this supreme calling to be great. You live for it, you're willing to die for it because it is becoming who you are. And you push through, you become great, you become excellent, you elevate yourself because it is the right thing to do.